Hey guys, my name is Jessa, and we'll be discussing the 2009 edition of The Diary of Anne Frank, directed by John Jones. If you are unsure of the context of the movie, Diary of Anne Frank is based on the diary of a young Jewish girl named Anne, who hid from the Nazis by hiding in the rooms above her dad's business for 2 years before being caught. Throughout the movie, we come to understand how the Second World War affected the lives of many Jewish people. We will analyze Anne's character development, several directive points that display how the Franks adapted to this new way of living, and how these people were able to live a life separate yet connected to the world outside. We see the development of Anne's character in the beginning of the film. Right off the bat, we see that the plot is driven by Anne's voiceover and perspective.
No. On the surface, I seem to have everything, except my one true friend.
This helps with realizing that the perspective comes from a young girl that is thrown into war. This voiceover continues throughout the movie. Another point of character development in the film is when Anne starts to ask herself and others, why does everyone hate us so much?
Why does everyone hate us? Why is it that there's one law for Christians and another one for us? It's like if they do something wrong, then it's just what they do. But if you or I do something, it somehow reflects on all Jews. Isn't that crazy?
We see a shift in her ongoing hope attitude that she had at the beginning. A much larger and more important character development in Anne is when she tells her dad that she wants to be a writer now.
I know I can write. I'm sure I can. After all, I'm my own harshest critic.
A juxtaposition from the beginning in which she wanted to be a movie star. Perhaps this scene is an entrance toward understanding how life really is for Anne, and how writing provides that reflection of her life.
When I write, all my sadness disappears. But, and it's a big but, will I ever be able to write something great?
An interesting directive point is the shelling in the background. The shelling is an interesting point in which we are reminded of the stark contrast from the scenes indoors to the war that is going on outside, an experience most of us are unaware of in our lifetimes.
Can I get in?
Come on then.
The shelling in the background also continues on within the movie, alluding to the watchers that this war becomes a part of the routine during the film. A scene that I found both saddening and profounding was the very end, when her family is forced to leave the attic after being caught by the Nazis. We see that Anne has a hard time putting on her shoes. This may allude to her identity being broken down by the very people she tried to run away from. As she is a young woman, she is reduced back to her childlike self, instilled with fear about her unknown future. It's sad to see because she was so full of excitement at the very beginning, thinking of this hiding as an adventure, but at the very end is stricken with fear. Through this movie, we see how refugees such as Anne carried on with their lives while living in hiding from the Nazis. While the reality of the movie is saddening, it helps us understand the prejudice that fellow human beings had and still have for those who we consider are different from us. This film also teaches us how we are often hidden from the horrors of wartime, especially in this day and age where most of us have never lived directly under war. Most importantly, the film Diary of Anne Frank reminds us about the horrible acts of humanity that were committed against innocent people. It tells us that we shouldn't ignore it, but rather that we should learn to improve our communities amongst us, and that we should not stand idly by when others are suffering. This movie is well written and accurately shows what people had to go through during the Second World War. Thank you for watching. I hope you consider watching this film.